Hey, rich friends, it's Dr. T Mac here. Welcome to the T Mac Inspired Show. And in today's episode, I am going to be chatting it up with one of one of the biggest business women I know. She is a mogul in the making. Her name is CrystalRobinson. Her brand is Dominate with Crystal. You guys are in for a treat. Stay tuned. Hey girl, hey, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I am doing phenomenal now that I'm talking to you.
All
So
right.
listen, Crystal, dominate with Crystal. I'm just gonna go ahead and jump in. This is just the way
Yeah.
I do things. Dominate with Crystal. What does that mean?
Oh, well, to be honest, I was in a mastermind some years ago, and we were in there, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to call my brand.
Mm,
And one of the girls in the group, well, first of all, we had an assignment, and we had to choose our car. Like, if we
okay,
were a car, what car would we be?
okay,
Um, so clearly, this is a little dated because I chose a Hummer, right?
okay. I
the
remember the Hummer.
big number. And so they was like, man, like that's a big truck. Like, why did you make that decision? I was like, I don't know. I just think everything that I do is big. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's me. And one of the girls was like, you know what? You should call your brand Dominate with Crystal. That matches the truck. And I was like, you right, because everything I do, I dominate it, right?
For
And so
sure.
honestly, that's where the whole name of Dominate with Crystal came from. But
Ah,
I was also able to relate it back to scripture because for me, that Genesis 1:26 through 28 is a foundation for me, right? I truly
mm.
believe that we are supposed to dominate everything that we do, but we were created, right, for
Mhm.
dominion. And so I live and walk in that on the daily. Like, that's just my life.
Yeah. I was doing a little research. Of course, you got to research people you put it in front of your audience. And I was
Absolutely.
like, homegirl is like for real, a serial entrepreneur. Like, how
Yeah.
many businesses do you have?
I've honestly lost count. The ones that we tell people about publicly are three, right? Like, so my husband has a State Farm agency that was our first brick and mortar business that we opened. And then after that, a few years later, we opened a logistics company. So we partnered with Amazon and we deliver packages in New Orleans for them. And
Okay.
then we went off from that and opened a Meineke Car Care Center in 21. So those are like our three main, upfront, businesses, so to speak. But we
Yeah, yeah.
also, yeah, we do real estate. So we do fix and flips, and we also do, fix and hold. So we have, a real estate portfolio that we're building there. And we also have an online e-commerce Amazon store. So we do a lot, but we still dominate in everything we touch.
Now let's talk about I want to talk about the Meineke.
Mhm.
That's a franchise, correct?
It is.
How,
Absolutely, it is.
how did y'all start that? Like,
To be honest, we were
yeah.
solving a problem. So after we opened the logistics company and finally got our feet wet in that and got an understanding of what it is that it actually takes to run a logistics company, because I had no background in that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but after about the first 2 years or so, I started looking at my P&Ls and I realized how much money was going out for fleet expenses.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I just started asking some questions, started doing some research, watching some videos, and it seemed like it was a reputable franchise to work with. And we went on some discovery calls. We, had some conversations with the onboarding team. And the next thing you know, we were, signing a deal for 5 units. And we opened our first one in November of 21. But to be
And where'd
honest,
you open that one?
in Slidell, Louisiana.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you're from
right outside New
Louisiana.
Orleans. Yeah, I'm originally from Mississippi.
Okay.
Mm,
My
yeah.
husband's from Baton Rouge.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we actually got the race to open two locations in Baton Rouge, so we're working our way that
and
way.
our boys went to Southern University.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, y'all close, close.
Yeah, yeah, I know. So do you like, I don't know. I heard that franchise, being a part of being a franchisee, they, you got to go by their rules and stuff, and they say you got to work a lot, you
Mhm.
know, put in, I guess, your time in order
Mhm.
to be a franchisee. Is that true with that particular one?
I would say for me, I do what I want. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now that the Meineke franchise in I don't think that franchise is that way. I've
Okay.
had that type of energy from them at all. I have, like I've heard like Chick-fil-A, where if you own one of those, you got to work in there. The same for
Hmm.
Waffle House. If you own one of those, you got to work in there. There's been stints of time where I don't even walk in the building for weeks at a time, and it's still
Hmm.
functioning for me. But I believe in setting up systems. I want to know and understand how the business works, but I set up a system to make sure that it functions without me. And obviously, with as many businesses as we have, it's very difficult for me to be at all of these places at the same time.
For sure.
Um, yeah, but no, Meineke is definitely, I think, a really good partner for us. They have everything set up to where I can literally run everything from my cell phone,
Mm.
from one app. I can check the boards, I can see what's happening, I can see my sales and my profits, everything straight from my cell phone.
Oh my God. Make me
Yeah,
want to go get a Meineke. Listen, I already,
get
you
you
mad?
one.
I want a Meineke.
Get you one. It's out there.
So let me ask you about the logistics business, because I see, especially since the pandemic, a lot of people are going or have gone in or did start a logistics company.
Mhm.
Did you guys start that like in 21 as well, or was that
No,
pre?
that was actually in 2018. So we opened the State Farm agency in 2015. So my husband and I were both working in corporate America. Prior to that, I was actually working for the government, and he was a banker for Chase at the time. And we got the opportunity to do the State Farm agency. And honestly, both of us were approved to do it, but we
Mhm.
actually found out we were pregnant with our second daughter as soon as
Okay.
I found out I was approved. So I said, no way, we're not both quitting jobs and having a second baby all at the same time. Like that's too much.
That ain't happening, right?
So we decided to just go with one agency. We both work in there and build that up. And then so from 2015 to 2018, we both worked in the agency full time.
Okay.
And then in the summer of 2018, that's when Amazon kind of announced that they wanted to partner with entrepreneurs and allow them to deliver their packages, because to this day Amazon doesn't deliver any of their packages. Like they outsource it all to smaller logistics companies.
I heard that. I
Mhm.
didn't know, I didn't do any research, but I heard that they really did not deliver their own packages, but they
Mhm.
own the trucks though, right? How does that
They
work?
do. Yeah, they do, and they just lease the trucks out to to the delivery service partner.
Ah, ah. Let me think about this business model. They own
Mm-hmm.
the warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
which means they own the property.
Mm-hmm.
They own the trucks, but they don't own the products, and they lease the trucks out to other companies to
Mm-hmm.
deliver for them.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
It's a pretty smart model because
Man, he is gangster.
yeah,
I like
I
that.
think that it's very intelligent.
I mean, where would you get that from? Like that's a dope model.
Well, he probably got it from tax strategy.
That's a dope model. No, seriously, that's really a dope model. I like that. So you guys just partner with Amazon, and then there's your business, so you don't have to go out here and try to find a book of business.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now of course there's some good sides and some bad sides of that, because of course they're going to control, how much you can and can't do. Right. They control how much volume is going to come your direction and whatnot. So, some of it, in some seasons you could be capped, at how much you can make, and that's also based on the consumer, right? Like I can't necessarily go online and rally for everybody to buy more from Amazon, to make my routes go up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, you do have to, make sure that you're paying attention to, kind of what's happening in the market so that you can scale your
Your
business
business,
around.
yeah, or pivot.
Yeah.
Start doing
Yeah.
something else. Yeah, right,
Or pivot to a Meineke.
right. So I heard that you and your spouse, y'all do like weekly podcasts. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So actually about 2 months ago, I think we
Mhm.
finally launched this podcast. Been wanting to do it for a long time. And with the schedule that we have and just life in general, we got two small kids. And so, well, I say small. If they heard me say that, they'd be a little perturbed. But they're 10 and 7, so to me, they
Okay.
small.
Okay.
But I mean, just finally, this has become that season where we can actually do it. But we get a lot of, which I'm sure you do too. We get a lot of the ask me how type of situations where
For
people
sure.
they inbox you. I just want to pick your brain, or I want to do this. And to be honest, we just don't necessarily have the time, to have 2 and 3 hour long conversations with everybody all the time. And we saw that there was, first of all, there's a niche there, because there's not a lot of information or help for couples that do business together, so we always get questions on how do you work with your husband, how do you work with your wife, how do you deal with this, who's over the money, who is
Mm,
it, when do you know to start your next business. It was a lot of questions that was coming to us, and we were sometimes answering the same questions
mm-hmm.
over and over again, or we're trying to find some quality time, and here's another message or here's another call. So the podcast was just kind of a way to serve a community that is out there but not necessarily being served at the time.
Yeah. So you guys kind of like do like not Q&A, but you address the issues that your audience let you know that they have.
Yeah, a little bit of both. And I'll be honest, up until this point, our conversations have been so intense to the point where sometimes we're able to kind of get some questions in,
Mm-hmm.
and other times we're just kind of just flowing in conversation. And the next
Mm-hmm.
thing you know, we're getting messages days after the fact, like, "Oh my God, I needed this information," or "This
Mm-hmm.
helped me set up, something in my business," or "This struck a conversation between, me and my wife," or whatever. We've been,
Mm-hmm.
getting that type of feedback. I guess over time, ideally, we want to be able to kind of do more Q&A sessions, maybe down the road. But honestly, we're having conversations off the cuff about questions we've already been asked, and sometimes we're just transparently airing dirty laundry, right? Like just talking about experiences, because it's such a little walk to,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Like what my boys, our boys tell us all the time. They all call me TT. TT, you need to mic up in the morning because now that's the real T Mac right there.
Right, right, right.
You
Yeah,
talk about
if
airing
we
dirty
was
laundry,
like
like
24/7, I think some folks would get to see the real love of
ah,
business for sure.
yeah, not the 90 seconds that we put on a reel or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But what it really, really takes to run a business. What's the name of the podcast?
It's called Love and Business.
Love and Business. Love and Business. Okay. So I understand the workings behind being an entrepreneur. Like I
Hmm.
understand one business. That's
Hmm.
a lot. You know, two businesses is a lot. But y'all have a lot of businesses and you're married and you have smaller children. You know, you guys are you got a podcast. So you guys have a lot of different things going on. How do you manage to like keep your sanity? Just your sanity cuz sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy and all our children are grown.
Yeah, we get that question a lot, and to be honest, I typically give the same answer, and it really is, just being present where you are. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like I can turn off the fact that we're serial entrepreneurs. I can't turn off the fact that I'm a wife or a mom.
Right.
I can't turn off who I am either. And so it just depends on where I'm at in the moment or what's most needed. And the best way I can explain it is like this morning. Because we traveled last week, we missed our parent teacher conferences with our daughter's teachers, and
Mm-hmm.
so we emailed them and said, "Hey, this is when we'll be back in town. Will this time work?" And our
Mm-hmm.
kids go to school 45 minutes to an hour away from our house.
Ooh.
I know. So we got up at 5 something this morning. We trucked it over there in two separate cars because we had two separate schedules today,
Mm-hmm.
but we went over there and we met with the first teacher at 7:20 and the second teacher at 7:50.
Wow.
And then I drove 45 minutes back over here to set up for my first conference call, some emails, and now this call, right?
Yeah.
But I was present as a mom when I was in there, right? I got in there, I immediately turned my phone on silent, turned it over, and I'm looking my daughter in the eyes. She's explaining what's going on, up
Mm-hmm.
to this point in the semester, listening to the teacher. We're giving feedback, right? And it was important that I was present as a mom from 7:20 to 8:15 this morning. That's where I needed to be. But I shifted, on my ride back, and silence is what I drove back in because I needed to. Okay, let me reset.
Yeah.
because I got to get back over here and send 1,000 emails to finish my tax person on prepping for tax stuff. I need a moment of silence before I do all of this tax prep, but I'm present everywhere I go.
That is so good. You got me already in my little.
Mm-hmm,
That is
mm-hmm,
so good because that is one of the biggest things that, and it's small, but it's big,
mm-hmm,
that people overlook. Like, if you're with your family, be with your family.
mm-hmm,
I'm I'm big on, if my husband and I are on a date, we're at dinner or something, we don't have our don't let's not be on our phones.
mm-hmm.
It's the kids are good. They'll call each other if something. They're all grown, so they're good. They'll
Right,
call
right.
each other if something happens, but let's be present in the moment. But not only just in that one moment, like you said, no, I needed to get right for this other call so I can be present in that moment. We
Mm-hmm.
pick and choose what moments we want to be present for, when in all actuality, you made a very good point. No, we need to be present in each moment. That's
Absolutely.
really
It
good.
has to be intentional though, especially with as much as we have going on. So I just try my best. Now I'm not perfect at it at all, but
Yeah.
try my best. If I'm at the Meineke location, I'm trying not to focus on the emails from the logistics company. I'm trying to only be there so I can do what that company
Mm-hmm.
needs. If I'm at the logistics company, I'm trying to only be there and ignore the,
Mm-hmm.
the phone calls and the text messages and the emails from the other locations, right? Because
Right.
I know I only have a limited amount of time for each one of them.
For sure, for sure. And you do. And you have to take, let me say this. Let me ask you this question, because this is something that I teach my mentees.
Mhm,
Focus on one thing at a time. Put your hands on 10 and 2, and don't do another business. Don't do anything else until you've made at least 7 figures in that one business. Do you agree
mm.
with that?
Ooh, ooh, my goodness. Um, I would say for most people, probably yes.
Okay.
Right. I'm not most people.
Right.
Um,
You dominate.
right, right. And so we've done that in multiple businesses, right? But for the average person, that's a lot to consume, because even now, like I don't like prepping for taxes, mainly because I don't feel like drawing down these documents, get this PDF, send
Yeah.
this, and do, like, it's just one of those tasks that just make my brain kind of like,
My,
if pinballs is going on. And so I'm in the mirror this morning and I'm trying to get dressed and I feel myself getting overwhelmed. And I was like, Crystal, calm down. You just got to send emails. Like, it ain't even that big
it
of a
ain't
deal,
that. Yeah.
but I can only imagine. And then I thought to myself, everybody can't do this. Like, I thought that this morning. So when you said that, I'm like, if this had been anybody else, they probably would have had a nervous breakdown, right? Because I got to send documentation for 5 different businesses.
Hmm.
Like, most folks can't even get their personal taxes together, let alone do it for that and multiple businesses, right? And
First of
so
all, they ain't even got a legit business. It ain't even set up right. They ain't got corporate minutes. They ain't
I
got
don't
none
even
of the
know if they're
things.
reporting taxes. You hear me? So I'm just saying, if that's what if you advise that, I would say it's definitely not a bad thing for the average person, for sure, because it's a lot,
Well,
to
it is. It is.
yeah.
But in here, I have like literal case studies, right? So one mentee I had, she had two different businesses that she wanted to do,
Mhm,
and at the same time.
mhm,
And she was just, but I'm doing this, and what do you think about this? And then she started talking about this other business, and I said, well, that's the business you should be doing. And she said, why did you say that? I said, because your eyes lit up.
mhm.
I said, you had the biggest smile when you were talking about that business. I said, that's where your energy, most of your energy is going to go. Your energy is going to be split if you have two of anything. It's
Yep.
going to be split. I said, but you light up, everything points to this business when you're talking. I said, so you're going to give this business more energy,
Yep.
but you're going to still try to hold on to this other business, and you're not going to make that much money because you
Be
just
drained.
too drained.
Yes. Mhm,
And this is no lie, Crystal, I have to tell you this. She was here at my house, and I was mentoring her, coaching her, whatever. She was here for 2 days. She left that Sunday, and I told her, I said, forget about that other business. I want you to focus on this one business right here. 10 and 2, go all in. 6 days later, she sent me a screenshot. She had done six figures in 6 days.
Come on.
That's why I asked you the question.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Hey,
but
if
listen
you
to
can get
this.
them kind of results, then you ain't never got to ask that question again.
Right. So she sent me a screenshot, six figures in 6 days. Like she left on a Sunday. That Saturday she sent me the screenshot. And
Mhm.
then in 8 months, she had done $1 million
Wow.
in 8 months, focusing
That's
on
deep.
one deal.
Focus.
And
Yeah.
that's, yeah. So that's why I ask you that question. Of course, and we're going to get into this real estate deal because, that's my deal. That's my jam. That's where I make my money.
Hello.
But the reason why I ask is because there's so many people, and I see it out here. They're selling lashes, and then they're, over here, they got a pool service, and then they got a limousine service, and then they got a balloon company, and they got all the things. But at the end of the day, they broke
Yeah.
because they're just trying to juggle too many things. And the one thing that, and of course, I can't coach everybody, right? Everybody ain't gonna pay me to coach them. So I see it, and I just like in my messaging, I'm always like trying to say, focus on one thing, focus on one thing. I don't care. You can want to do it, but the majority of the people cannot do
Yeah.
more than one thing at a time and be really, really good at, like, hone in on it. What I see you do is I don't look at you as you're all over the place. I look at you as, no, you are diversifying your money.
Yeah.
You're
Absolutely.
investing in these businesses. You're not actually out here trying to do all the things in the business. There's a difference.
It's impossible to be.
It's impossible, but
Yeah.
the average person doesn't understand that.
Yeah. And I'm still trying to figure out how to explain what I do, right, to most people, because and the only reason I want to explain it is really to deter them from trying to be me. So a lot of times people, they look at our successes or they
And they
look at what
think
we
it's
do,
easy.
and or yeah, like they want to jump in at that, I'm saying, at that same rate, and I'm like, that's not really what that is, right? Like I explain time spans, right, in between. So like our very first business wasn't even brick and mortar. Like our very first business back in 2010, 11, somewhere in there, we were dog breeders. We used to breed dogs and
What
host dog shows.
kind of dogs?
The pit bull bullies. My husband was into those,
I love
and they was having these little shows around here. We was going, and I started seeing money. You know what I'm saying? I was like, they pay how much for them dogs? And then we were going to the little shows. I said, they pay how much to have a booth and set up some kennels in there? Like I just started seeing the dollars, and I was like, hold on, I'm adding these things. I'm like, wait a minute, they making tens of thousands of dollars in a day. Next thing you know, about 3-4 months later, we had our first dog show and made 20 grand in a day. Messed my head up. I said, "Oh, okay, this is what we doing,"
We
But
doing this now.
we doing this now. I still this day, I don't know where that $20,000 went. I blew it, but it was fast. It was too fast. I couldn't appreciate it, but
Oh my God, that's funny. She like, this is what we doing.
right. But we did a lot of stuff though. Like we did
Mhm.
that. We did network marketing. We sold t-shirts. Like we just did so much stuff to
Been
learn
at
how to build business. And most people are looking at today like, well, if y'all doing all of this, it's like, nah, we actually got a whole lot of stuff wrong. And then finally we started getting stuff right at the State Farm agency, and that was still tough. And then now it seems like we're doing a lot quickly, but it's like we're in a groove now. You can't just walk in one day and say, well, I have this and now I want to do this too because you guys are doing 1,000 things. I
Mhm.
wish I could explain that to people, to the point where they actually see what you said,
Right.
like focusing on a thing. Because I just know entrepreneurship and systems and processes are my bread and butter. And
Well,
so I
the money is in the
know
systems. The
the
money is
money
in the
is
systems. Yeah,
system.
for sure.
Yes, I'm not out here flying like with a cape on my back, at all of these spots. I mean, my logistics business today, I haven't been there in 2.5 weeks, right?
Yeah,
I'm handling emails. My Meineke location, I'm there a couple of days a week now because I'm training a new team member, but
yeah,
I'm typically not there. I just
right.
go in, I come out, but I know how to hold people accountable. And I'm like, if you can't hold yourself accountable, don't go out here trying to sprout up all these businesses because You can't just wake up and just be doing this. You
Listen, you can't. You can't. It's the more businesses fail than succeed,
absolutely,
and that
absolutely.
is a statistic that is true, 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 true. More businesses fail than succeed. We are literally. I like when you talk about systems because that is the lifeline of a business.
Absolutely.
Systems, systems, systems. We have five sons. The last three sons are I'm helping them start a business, right? Healthcare staffing agency. Actually, we already started it.
Okay.
But the systems is the foundation of the business, right? Because we don't want to be doing all the work.
Mm-hmm.
And we have had so many issues with the system. And I told them, I said, listen, guys, if we don't get this system thing situated, it's not going to work. We're
Yep.
gonna we're gonna because we're gonna be behind an eight ball.
Yep.
And a light bulb went off with like all three of us. We meet all the time, all the four of us. We're meeting constantly. And last night we met and we went, we really went down our workflow. And
Mm-hmm.
then my husband walked in the room. He was like, that's the system right there. I said, yes, you have
Yeah.
to have a workflow.
Yep.
Most businesses, most entrepreneurs, they don't even know what a workflow is. So I know
Yeah.
you don't have a system.
Right. They don't respect it at all. It's like you just can't come out here and wing it. You can, but
You
I can't
can,
say
but
how successful you're gonna be long term.
you're gonna make a lot of money. You're just
Yeah.
gonna be working for money. But when
Yeah.
when you have a real business with real systems, real workflows that really work, you're
Mm-hmm.
really not working. You're
Mm-mm.
overseeing. You're
That's
waking
it.
up in the morning. I do it all the time. I wake up in the morning. I'm looking at numbers, right? Real estate. Because I have my systems down to a T in real estate. I have a team in place.
Mm-hmm.
My lawyers, I have different lawyers. I have different CPAs for different because I invest all over. Like you got to have these people to when they call. All I got to do is look at an email or whatever. Go back, send a PDF or something like that.
Yeah.
You cannot work your way to wealth. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. Because I mean, wealth is measured in time, not money, right?
Time, not money. Give me my time. I
Right.
will pay for this. I
Yep.
literally had a meeting today, a whole bunch of acres that my husband and I bought, like 60 something acres.
Oh
And
wow.
some stuff was going on with the paperwork and da 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 da. And I was like, see, this is why we do our due diligence. This is why we pay
Mm-hmm.
the attorneys to do this. This is why we pay surveyors to do that. So now we ain't got to deal with it. We got da, da, da. So I'm going, and then I'm like, it condenses everything because I have my time. I don't have to jump on a plane and go run somewhere and do something. And then I can
Yes.
go on about another one. So we just bought 8 more parcels of land somewhere else. Oh, it was sent to me. Systems. Send
Come
this to
on.
me. I just take a look at it. I run the numbers. I send you back whatever.
Let's go.
People don't get that.
No.
Like,
They don't respect it either. And maybe it's because when people are good at what they do, it makes it seem like it's something that it's not. Yeah.
a lot of people say you make it look easy. Well, it is easy because I do all the hard work on the front end when I'm
Yeah.
building every single thing you do. Oh, BJ, remember yesterday when I was trying to explain workflows to y'all, and I said everybody has a workflow, they just don't know it. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
like, when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you do? And they were like, brush our teeth, and then what? Wash our face, and then what? You know, check our phones. Okay, that's a workflow.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but something triggered the workflow. What triggered it? An alarm clock.
Right.
So that's a system. Then that's how you plug it into a system. They were
Mm-hmm.
like, I didn't think about it that way. If we could get people to think about it, everybody would be wealthy because everybody would have their time back.
I know that's for real. I want my time.
I love my time. I love my time.
Yes.
Wealth is measured in time, not money. But
Yes.
you cannot get your time back if you don't go to the beginning. I'm so glad you came on here. I'm so glad you have all these businesses, and I'm so glad you're successful. So I mean, because it's just a testament of what I've been saying all the time. It's not that I wouldn't call you a serial entrepreneur. I really would call you a businesswoman.
Yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
businesswoman. You
Yeah. I
understand
mean,
business.
I guess I always use the term serial entrepreneur because as soon as you say, oh, I'm a business owner or I'm a businesswoman, and then I go and name like all of these different businesses, they get They're like, wait a minute, what?
No,
So I
you're a
just go ahead.
business woman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Look,
absolutely.
serial
Yeah.
entrepreneur sounds to me. It sounds like I tried this, it didn't work. I tried that, it didn't work. I tried this, it didn't work. I'm still trying things that are really not working.
Oh, no, they working.
Right, you're a businesswoman. Think about Magic Johnson. How many businesses does he own? Think about Shaquille O'Neal. How many businesses does he own? Right,
Yeah,
they're
I would love to
businessmen.
get there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Upgrade your title, girl.
that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Hey, rich friends, I know that you are enjoying this episode. I told you you would. I told you she's a beast. But anyway, if you are a female entrepreneur and you would love to be a part of a community of other women entrepreneurs who are killing it in the game, who are learning about real estate, stocks, all things money, all things business, and a place where you can come together and do the things like the yacht party that we are doing, and going to Turks and Caicos and just doing all types of wonderful things, and you want to join this community, it is the TMAC Inspired Network. Within the TMAC Inspired Network is the Rich Friends Circle. That's what I'm talking about, the Rich Friends Circle. You guys, you ladies are more than welcome to join. The link is below. It's tmacinspirednetwork.com, tmacinspirednetwork.com. Click the link. Take a peek for a week. See if you like it. If so, stay with us and grow with us. Back to the episode. So let's jump into real estate really quick. I want to
Sure.
talk about it but hey, keep me on target here, BJ, because I'll go, girl. When I talk about real estate, I go crazy. You and your husband, y'all have a portfolio. Y'all fix and flip. Y'all have a few, buy and hold in your portfolio. What made you guys get into real estate?
Well, honestly, there is no mentor that I've ever had that didn't say that, real estate was a part of wealth building, right? So we knew from jump that at some point in time we was gonna have to get in the game. And we actually attempted, like, I don't know, it's probably more than 10 years ago. And we just, we didn't have any guidance, didn't know what to do, what to look for. And so we kind of paused on it. And then
Okay.
when we had access to some liquid cash, the first thing we went back to was, okay, now we need to do real estate,
Mm-hmm.
And we live in a unique area. We're right outside of New Orleans, and we
Mm-hmm.
actually moved here right after Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so about I think Hurricane Katrina happened. I think in
2005, right?
yeah somewhere in there. Yeah, it's almost. I don't know. Has it been 20 years? I don't remember. Anyway, we've been here like 15. I think 15 years now,
Okay.
and so we don't stay too far outside of New Orleans, but we started hearing that real estate there was rather inexpensive, right? Because of Hurricane Katrina, because a lot of the
Yep.
houses were flooded and now gutted, and people was, moving or didn't
Mm-hmm.
have the money to repair, whatever. And we started looking at properties, and at the time we were like super young and just didn't know what to do. So that's when we did the pause, and then of course we circled back. I think our first flip actually happened in 2018. I think it was like early 2018. And so we basically just invested in, like, literally it was a shell of a property, didn't pay much for it at all. It was literally just the walls. And I mean, we literally scrapped our way through that. Had absolutely no experience whatsoever, no assistance, no team, no,
What?
I
What?
mean, no nothing. Just went in. Like, let's just figure
Crystal,
it out, right? Nothing. You hear
let's
me?
just take this money and figure it out.
Let's just do, and that's literally what we did. I mean, we made some profits. It definitely wasn't as big as we thought it should have been or could have been. But I think for us, it was just a matter of, hey, if we don't have the team around us to figure it out, we can at least learn our way through it. And that's exactly what we did. We learned our way through the process. Yeah, it wasn't fun. It was very nasty. I'll tell you. We've had our
Okay.
experience with some
Okay.
contracts.
So that was the first flip. You made a little money, not a lot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what made you decide? Okay, we're gonna do it again.
You know, lessons learned. Let's try it again. And to be
Okay.
honest, our second one was probably, as it relates to the experience of it, it was probably worse than the first one. Here's why. We get this contractor guy. I mean, dude talk. he had all the credentials, he got all the paperwork stuff lined out, and honestly, he turned out to be a crook. Yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
that's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother episode. Now
Girl,
you
we
know.
can go in on that episode.
And I said, you know what? This probably ain't it. That's when we pivoted to let's fix and hold. Because I
Okay,
think I
yeah.
think I think guaranteed money is better than this this fix and flip type of deal. And at the time, because of course we're talking 2018, then 2019, and then we were finishing one of our last flips in 2020, and then of course the pandemic happened, and the cost of lumber and all this stuff started getting crazy, and so we knew, and the real estate market over here just got dumb, and people were just doing some really crazy things as it relates to like the New Orleans market. It's unique in itself. Like people are paying, they pay $700,000-800,000 for like a 1,200 square foot house. Like I ain't never understood it, but it was happening. So the market just kind of did a lot of flip flop and stuff. Stuff wasn't necessarily worth what it should have been.
Right.
And so we knew then, okay, let's stop the fix and flip and let's go to fix and hold. So now we're building, a portfolio of duplexes, which is popular in New Orleans, right? Where you got two sides and, shotgun houses,
Yep.
but we mainly do Section 8 as it relates to the tenants for that.
Okay, so that's okay. Basically, your clientele.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have actually have a mentee that she has a duplex in right out. No, I think it's in Baton Rouge. In Baton Rouge. So she started, but what she did, she uses a strategy that I've been teaching since. I started teaching this strategy probably in 2019, 2020, of unlicensed group homes. So
Okay.
so she has a duplex, and each side has 4 bedrooms. They're big.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so she has 8 people paying
Yeah.
her monthly.
Yes, I've heard
So
that that's very lucrative.
it's yeah, my husband and I we started that using that model. I think it was before COVID. We started using that model first part of 2020. Game changer.
Wow.
Game changer. I wouldn't
Okay.
I don't think I'd ever rent another property to one person again ever. Ever.
Really?
Ever.
I don't know if I've ever heard that statement.
Ever.
You got my eyebrows lifted. You hear me?
I don't want to get $1,200 a month from one person and they may pay or may not pay. I'd rather get $600 to $800 a month for 5 to 8 people every month in one property.
One
It just
property.
it's a no brainer for me.
It sounds like it's a brain I need to get.
Yeah, I told you when I start talking real estate, it's over.
Yeah. No, I like that concept because I'm not gonna lie. I mean, of course, Section 8 is great because it's guaranteed money, but
Yeah.
it also comes with its ups and downs, right? Because if you
Yep.
got to get somebody out of there, you basically are rehabbing the entire property because
You
who
are
knows?
rehabbing that thing all over again. But
I don't know how you know.
one of the reasons why I like that unlicensed model is because unlicensed group home models, because number one, you ain't got to go through the state or anything because you're just renting rooms, right?
Mhm.
And I don't have to hire staff. I just take one person who has the most sense in the house and make them the house manager, right?
Come on.
And they're the house manager. I just reduce their rent by maybe
Come on.
$100. So
That's a system.
that's the system. They're my eyes and my ears, right?
Yep.
So they're gonna make sure that nobody's tearing up my house. I got house rules, curfew, all the things that you put in place, and it runs itself. It just runs itself. I had somebody call me this morning, as a matter of fact. Miss Tasha, do you have any rooms available? Somebody text my sister in South Carolina asking her, because we have properties up there too. Do you have any
Okay.
rooms available? You don't have to advertise. It's just it really runs itself. I really like that model.
Girl, I'm about to listen when we get off this call.
There's another business to Crystal.
Yes, come on now. I don't let opportunity pass me by.
Sure.
You don't. It's not happenstance that you get access
Yeah,
to people and to information.
for sure.
listen, your next $1 million idea is coming through a person. I've always believed that. And so, look, I don't take that type of information or inside scoop lightly.
Right. So if you got duplexes, I mean, that would be the lick. You know, of course you could sprinkle some, you know, Section 8 or whatever. But my whole model, you gotta receive a disability check. Because that's
Yeah,
sure money too.
yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
receive a
yeah,
disability check and you gotta get food stamps.
yeah.
You think about it, if you got 8 people in under one roof getting food stamps, come
Mm-hmm.
on now. Come on, somebody.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
the house manager is the only one that can cook or whatever. You know, it's just different things. Different. You can run it how you want to run it, but it's, you know, you have your days where they can only use the wash and dry on this day and that day. I mean, all the way down to the detergent. Hey, everybody gets 8 pods a month. Anything over there, you got to pay for a pod to wash your clothes. You know what I'm talking about? The little.
yeah. You got a system for real, for real. I thought I was rough. I mean,
Don't call me. I got a ring on the front door, a ring on the back door, and a camera in the common area. Play with it.
yeah,
Here, don't tap
yeah,
my house.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, I need to take some notes.
But anyway, this has been so much fun. So we can go on and on, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got me intrigued for sure. I'm telling you, this ain't our last conversation about that.
So I want to make sure that everybody knows where to go to listen to the podcast. So where can they find you guys?
So right now, we go live every Thursday on Facebook. So they can find us on Facebook at Love and Business. We also go live on YouTube, so you can find us on YouTube as well. Love and Business over there,
Okay.
and we'll be broadcasting to some podcast platforms. I wanted to make sure we got all the kinks out before we went, official. So we'll be on all of your podcast platforms probably within the next week or two.
Yeah.
But right now we're live on Facebook and YouTube every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All right. All right. Y'all heard it. Thank you so much for joining me, Crystal.
No problem at all. It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yes, yes. Hey, rich friends, thanks so much for watching this episode, listening wherever you're listening from. Do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe if it's YouTube. If you're on any audio platform, go ahead and write a review or click the stars. Let me know. Write a comment. I read all the comments. Let me know how you are enjoying these episodes, okay? And remember, Dr. T Mac said you can have it all. See you on the next episode.